Welcome to NBA Today, presented by ESPN Bet. With a win over the Jazz tonight in their in-season tournament game, the Lakers, they can win their group and become the first team to advance to the knockout stage. The Lakers, they have a 3-0 record so far in the tournament and have an average point differential of plus 14. Remember, that's important when we're talking about tiebreakers here. So LeBron James, I mean, he seems to bring it whenever he has a chance to advance, be it in the playoffs, the play-in tournament. LeBron is 43-13 in closeout games, averaging 28, 9, and 7 in over 50 clinching scenarios. We're joined today by the director of ambiance, Richard Jefferson, our senior writer, Ramona, Shelburne, our senior writer, Lowe. You've played with LeBron. You've played against LeBron. When he has a chance to sort of kick it into high gear in an elimination scenario like this, what do you expect from him?
Well, no, I expect the energy to be extremely high. That's the beautiful thing about this situation right here, is that there is something at stake. And I don't care. You don't reach the levels that these players reach unless you're a bit psychotic about competition. So all of a sudden you get yourself into a position where it's like, hey, if we win this, we get to move on. Boy, I tell you, these games are going to get more exciting. I think this week and next week especially, I think the energy is going to be through the roof.
But we don't have to wait this week, next week. It starts tonight. And if LeBron James, the weekend, was any appetizer as to what we could expect coming tonight against the Utah Jazz, I mean, he has been showing no signs of slowing up in his 21st season here in his battle against Father Time. So just in case you forgot, Friday, the Blazers were in Crypto.com Arena, or rather the Lakers were in Moda Center. LeBron James gets the steal here. Watch him, Richard. Going to work, gets it back.
It's just back in transition. This man at this age, it's still crazy that transition strength and athleticism is his strong point.
Ooh, and then a nice little jam there, throws it down the lob from Anthony Davis. LeBron, this is something that he's improved, pulling up from 3.
Well, you got to be smarter. You know, I've played with so many players that at the end of their career, they have to change it up. You can't take this physical pounding. Even LeBron James has adjusted his game at this point in time in his career.
Nice no look to Rui there. LeBron had 35, 5, and 9. The Lakers win on that one. I know, casual. And then Sunday, Dillon Brooks is in the building. Dillon Brooks had the offensive assignment of LeBron James often in this game. And LeBron, he knew what he was cooking up.
Well, he knew what he's cooking up. And look, we got to still talk about the Houston Rockets. This team is a young, up-and-coming team, and the way they competed, you look at the score right here, down by 1, LeBron with the big 3 in L.A. He's been just cooking the Houston Rockets for a while.
I don't want to disrespect the Houston Rockets at all, but I don't think we need to talk about the Houston Rockets when LeBron James has that sort of look on his face. Tie game, 1.9 to go. He was sent to the line. LeBron, ice cold, makes the 3 here. Of course, the Rockets still have a chance to win this one. Alperen Şengün throws it in to who? Dillon Brooks. Can you imagine if he made that? But he does not. The Lakers get the win, 105-104. LeBron, I mean, he just continues to elevate his game. He continues to make history. He is the 3rd most games with 35 points all time. He did so in both games this weekend. I believe he passed Kobe Bryant this weekend to get to that mark as well. Not bad for a guy who turns, 39 next month? So let's take a listen to LeBron James on what is motivating him after all of these years.
I don't know, just trying to push the limit, see how far I can take this thing. I don't know. I mean, it's me versus Father Time, so I'm trying to change the narrative. And started off last year, and see if I can keep it going. But just competition. And then I looked over at one point and seen Bronny sing courtside too. I was like, okay, I still got to turn it up a little bit more, even more with him in the building.
Father Time, I mean, obviously undefeated, but if anyone can put Father Time to the test, it would be one LeBron James, and it seems like he is not going anywhere, not going down without a fight. Zach, how sustainable, though, is this level of play for LeBron?
I think the production, other than the three-point shooting, I don't know if he's going to shoot 40% from 3 all year. I think the production is sustainable. 26, 8, and 6 at age whatever he is in season whatever it is. I've lost track. It's ridiculous. It's unprecedented. But here's the stat that matters. With LeBron on the floor, the Lakers +7 per 100 possessions. With LeBron off the floor, -17 per 100 possessions. That's like the Washington Generals with LeBron on the bench. That speaks to the fact that this team, which is 24th in offense, by the way, has not figured out a roadmap to points with LeBron James on the bench, or really without LeBron James doing kind of too much of the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And that's my only concern. The production, he can do it. The minutes, the load, they need that to come down a little bit, at least in the regular season.
I mean, look, I like to poke Darvin Ham a little bit on this because he was the one who came out of the gate saying, "Oh, we're gonna have a minutes restriction on him this year."
Under 30.
Yeah. And I said, Darvin, what about that minutes restriction? And he goes, listen, he's been our best player this year. So if the proposed minutes restriction,
wait, but was he not the best player last year?
I know.
Okay.
But he's 38.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
He's been our best player this year. So if the proposed minutes restriction was cap, Darvin said, I will wear that cap proudly, okay? Because it's out the window. Like LeBron James gets better the more he plays. Come on, you played with him.
I agree, and we are all still astounded at what he can do. But I think the question is, can he sustain this for 82 games, having to play the fourth quarter, going to the in-season tournament, and then trying to make a postseason run? Because the only thing LeBron James wants is to win a championship. That's it. And so if you go to him and say, if you're playing 35, 37 minutes, and you're playing the entire fourth quarter, and you're doing that in the first 15 games of the season, that is not sustainable, in my opinion, for all 82. You got to be able to get other guys to raise their level and be able to get him back. That's what Zach's talking about.
Austin Reeves has raised his level since they moved him to the bench. I think they've sort of staggered their minutes a bit, averaging 13.5 points a game, 5.9 rebounds. I mean, Austin Reeves has kind of been that guy that they needed to do this, and I think he takes some of the load off of LeBron when he's able to be in that reserve role.
But wasn't the conversation all summer long, and of course you need to see it on the floor, okay, well, Rob Pelinka had this fantastic summer, and look at the depth that has been put around LeBron James to sort of bubble wrap him so that he can put the pedal on the gas when it gets to the time that matters. Zach, when you're looking at sort of how that depth has played out, do you think that this is good? Do you think that LeBron needs a little bit more help? And if so, should the Lakers be targeting somebody specific?
I think so far they've just had to muddle through, and it hasn't been what they've envisioned. Austin Reeves, whether it's as a starter or on the bench, I think they need to play him more and give him the ball more. I want to see what it looks like with more Gabe Vincent, who we've barely seen, more Austin Reeves handling the ball, more of that stuff before I come to the conclusion that, hey, that one first-round pick we still haven't traded, we got to trade that, plus a bunch of salary attached to players that play in our rotation for an upgrade, whoever that might be. People are going to want to link Zach LaVine to this team, and I do think he makes some stylistic sense for what the Lakers need, but that's a big contract and a player that has very little to no experience in big to winning playoff games. So I'm going to pump the brakes just a bit. I want to see a little more what I got first.
That's fair.
No, I agree. Seeing what you got is key here, but there's also other players out there. I like Zach LaVine to a certain degree, but I look at a Pascal Siakam. I look at a Kyle Kuzma. Those are the two players that when you start to hear the grumblings around the league about who could be open, and this is why. If you're going to have to give up that pick and some players, you're most likely going to have to give up some wing depth. Both of those guys are wing players. You're not replacing a position, let's say like a Chris Paul, where you have a duplicate player there. So Pascal Siakam can do a little bit of everything. The one thing that I will point at, a lot of people said that this year's team was similar to the 2020 team, but I still think
because of those bigs,
because of the two bigs. Well, it's because you have your two stars and then you have very good players around. It's not like a third superstar like a Russ. But I think we're looking at right now is that this core group is not quite as good or is not performing at the 2020 level. So that's why people are talking about and looking for an upgrade. And I think there are upgrades out there in those wing positions.
There's upgrades out there. You bring up 2020. The name Alex Caruso comes up quite a bit. I don't think they need a third star. They just need to see what they have. But also, there's players out there. Colin Sexton. There's Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan. Those are going to be a lot of names that'll flow out there. But we just got started.
Right. We're only 20 games into the season, but it's also the time where our other teams, you mentioned a team like or a player like Siakam. Are the Toronto Raptors going to start to slide? What direction is their season going? And that can dictate a whole lot for a team like the Lakers, who are really hoping to be.
Not if Scotty Barnes keeps playing the way he is.
And really quickly, when you look at Toronto, they lost Van Fleet for nothing. He left. You can't have an all-star level guard that gets damn near a max contract and gets zero in return. So if I'm Toronto, if I'm their organization, I'm actually worried about players leaving in free agency and we're not going to get anything. So you can't, if you're Toronto, time's the move. Hopefully you learned your lesson last year, and Masai's one of the best in the business. But I think Toronto is going to make a move in fear of losing a player in free agency to nothing.
Go ahead,
Hold up. Can I just interject on behalf of everybody in Canada and from Canada and even the Moose in Canada? If the Raptors had tried to trade Pascal Siakam, if they decide to, there are a lot of teams that are going to be able to outbid the one first-round pick and mid-tier players that the Lakers have dropped. I just want to say that. That's all. No. Apologies, Toronto. We love you. I'm on fire.